So today we're going to be talking about certifications that you can receive and training that you can take once you're done with this class. So let's go ahead and start in on the certifications, and one of the main certification companies out there is called ISC squared or ISC2, and there it's popping up right here for us. So if we go to this link, we should get to the ISC2, and it's actually isc2.org is the website that we're at. And the ISC2 group offers several different credentials, the main one being the CISSP. So if you do any job searching, which we're going to simulate a little bit later on in this lecture, and you're looking for security jobs, guess what one of the main requirements out there is the CISSP. So most recruiters, most companies are looking for you to have the CISSP certification. So we have CISSP, we have CAP, we have SSCP, and we have CSSLP. So what's the difference between them? Well, this handy dandy little choosing the right credential will walk us through that. All right, so this is probably going to be the one that catches your interest because it says experience less than a year. That's most of you guys. This certification is called the ISC Squared Associate. So what it means is that you can take the CISSP exam, and if you take and pass the CISSP exam and you don't have the required amount of work experience, which in this case for you to be fully CISSP certified, you need to have 5 years of work experience, and we'll look at that in a minute. So if you don't have the work experience, and again, that's most of you guys, that is work experience in the information security industry, then you can still take the CISSP exam, but you don't get the full CISSP certification. What you get is what's called, like I said, the ISC Squared Associate. This ISC Squared Associate not only counts for the CISSP, but also for the SSCP. So for SSCP, again, you don't have to have the required amount of years. All right, the next one down the list is if you have at least 1 year of experience, then you can get the SSCP. And that would be in any one of the domains that the SSCP CBK covers. So what is the SSCP? Let's take a quick look. Basically what it is a position that is best entry-level IT security certification. There you go. It's their nice marketing term. Only 1 year of experience in the information security business. And what it's saying is it's ideal for people working in security, network security, engineering, system analysis. So all these different security fields would, if you're going into any of these security fields, it would be a good idea to have this SSCP certification. Now, how is it different than the CISSP? Well, the SSCP certification covers 7 domains. The CISSP covers 10 domains. So the SSCP, the one that we're looking at right now, it's basically just a subset of the CISSP. And again, remember, the CISSP is kind of the big de facto standard certification that you can get, but it's pretty big. So if you want to get kind of get started on that CISSP, and you don't have the work experience and you don't have all of the necessary knowledge for all the domains, then the next one to do would be the SSCP. So the SSCP, it covers these 7 domains: access control, cryptography, malicious code, monitoring, network and communication, risk response recovery, security operations and administration. What? This is sounding pretty familiar to you? Well, I hope it does, because if we look at our book, the one we've been following this whole semester, well, the chapters that we've gone through, chapters 5 through 11, cover those same 7 domains: access control, security operations, auditing, risk response, cryptography, network, and malicious code. And if you did read the opening part of this part 2 of your Fundamentals of Information Security book, you would have seen that it says the System Security Certified Practitioner, or SSCP, professional certification from the ISC Squared. So what they're saying here is learning these 7 domains in probably a little bit more detail. So you'd probably want to go back and look at all of the information covered in these sections, because I didn't cover everything in too much detail. But if you go back and review these 7 domains from the book, then you should be ready to take and pass the SSCP. So there you go, one nice little thing for you of taking the class. You can now are ready to take this SSCP certification with a little bit more studying. Okay, so now that you know you could take this, and again remember that you wouldn't be able to get the full SSCP certification, right? Because you need at least 1 year of experience. You don't have that. So if you took the SSCP certification, you would get, and you passed, you would be an ISC Squared Associate SSCP. Hopefully that's all making sense. All right, so if you are interested in this SSCP, let's check it out. What do? Oh, you could download an exam outline to see what's on the exam. You could buy another textbook. Well, you got one, so maybe you wouldn't need that. More information. Maybe one thing you're going to be looking for is the price. Well, you could put some information in here and they'll email you. Or, let's see, we could see a little bit more on a brochure that they have for us. And the brochure should list some of the options of how to take this test, and it should be ready for us to look at now. Okay, there we go. Okay, so benefits, why choose, engage, beyond, and again details about the domains that it covers, and a nice little review seminar. So you could attend a review seminar. This isn't free, of course, but you could find out about how to sign up for that. How it's offered. The review seminar is offered in the classroom, on-site, or you can take it online. Different study tools you can use. So you can use your book. Your book is officially recognized by ISC Squared as covering all the correct information for you to be able to take the test. And there's all these previews, free webcast channel, and again, like a nice little check marks of everything you need to do, including registering for the exam. So let's go ahead and look at register for the exam. And here you will find paper exam, CBT, that's just the study guide, and we want to know how much this thing will cost us. So since we are here in the Americas, the CISSP exam, well, we didn't want that one. That's the kind of next one up. The SSCP 3-hour exam. Okay, so it's a 3-hour exam. It costs $250. All right. So these are good numbers to keep in mind because we will be going back and talking about the CISSP in just a moment. That one, pretty hefty, $600. So pretty expensive for you to take this test. So you definitely want to be ready, and you definitely want to be serious about going into this industry. Sometimes companies, once they hire you, they may even pay for you to not only take training to be CISSP certified, but some would also pay this $600 or $599 fee for you to become certified. So that might be another thought to keep in mind. All right, so the SSCP, that's what we were looking for. It cost a grand total of $250, which is a lot, but when you compare it to the $599, oh, it looks a little bit cheaper. Okay, so we've looked now at the SSCP and the associate version of that. Since most of you don't have 1 year of experience, you could take the SSCP. If you pass, you'd be the associate, ISC Squared Associate SSCP. All right, so the next one up, the CAP, the CAP. This is the Certified Authorization Professional. So what do you think this one person does? Well, they look at their an in-demand position for the in-control individual. All right, what does that mean? Well, this person is appropriate for commercial markets, okay. They will need some IT security information assurance, risk management. So these are the key terms here that should tell you what this is geared towards and what you would learn if you were to study for the CAP exam. So the CAP exam is offered, and their target audience is for people who want to go into risk management and information assurance, kind of like a little auditing here, risk management, planning. So this is for your management and risk management type people. Not necessarily the emphasis of our class, but we did talk a little bit about both of these, risk management and information assurance. All right, so this one's not the hardcore computer science-y. This is more for the risk management, I don't know, still auditing side, I'd say. All right, so CAP, then we have this thing called the CSSLP, and to take this one you need, or if you take this and pass and you want to be CSSLP certified, you'd need 4 years of work experience. So let's take a quick look at this. This one is a life cycle. So when we say life cycle and we say computer security, well, that probably has to do a lot with programming, right? Right. So this person develops application security programs. So they're going to make sure that the life cycle, the coding standards that a company is using, the life cycle of that coding of that software, remember testing and pre-implementation and implementation, and that whole flow of how a program goes from birth to death, that would be handled by someone that is a life cycle professional. So if you would be going down that route, they have a test for that as well, the CSSLP certification. All right, going back, and let's kind of almost sort of stop here. The CISSP, that's the giant one. Again, this requires 5 years of experience. The SSCP is a subset of it. So let's go ahead and look at the CISSP. Who is it geared for? Well, it's pretty much geared for any of your security professionals, a security analyst, security systems engineer, a CISO, the Chief Information Security Officer, Director of Security, all the way down to security auditor and security architect. So this one really is good for anyone that is in the security industry that's not the auditor or the risk manager, more of the tech side, the techie tech side. Would be someone that would want to get the CISSP certification. And it covers not 7 domains like the SSCP, it covers 10 domains. Access control, still networking, security governance, risk management. So even though there's one specific to risk management, you still need to know some risk management to pass the CISSP. Software development, security, cryptography we've talked about in the other one, security architecture and design, operations security, that's kind of one that we haven't talked about. We have talked about disaster recovery. We haven't talked very much about legal and regulations, so this one would cover that in more detail. And finally, the one that we didn't talk about at all in the SSCP is physical security. So this really has to do with doors and locks and windows and all kinds of stuff to keep not only the building safe, but also the server room safe as well. So physical security is a big part. So you can see 10 very diverse domains of knowledge that you would need to have in order to take and pass the CISSP exam. And as we looked, it is $5.99 to take and requires 5 years of experience to receive, unless, of course, you want that ISC squared associate. All right, so one last thing is we have the CISSP, but we also have the CISSP, and it is directed towards different technology sectors. One would be for CISSP for architecture, CISSP for engineering, and CISSP for management. So let's just quickly look at the architecture one. This is for system architecture, advanced expertise in information security architecture. The candidate appropriate would be the appropriate audience. The person who should be looking at this would be the chief security architect and analysts who work as consultants or in similar capacities. Let's see. Generally develop, design, analyze the overall security plan, so kind of a higher level thing here for you. And the 6 domains that this looks at is access controls and methodologies, communication network security, cryptography, again, security architecture analysis, so would be new to this. This would be particular to this domain. Technology-related business continuity planning, BCP, and disaster recovery, so we've looked at that in the other domains. And physical security considerations, so even though the other CISSP said physical security, this one I guess is a little different, physical security considerations. Okay, so this would be if you were looking at the CISSP and you were specifically in the architecture domain, you would take that CISSP exam. All right, that's enough about the different credentials. You could always go back to this home page and get all kinds of more information, such as different chapters that you could join. You could join an ISC Squared chapter, look at different upcoming events, different training opportunities, and that was the credentials we already looked at. All right, so that's the ISC Squared group and the CISSP specifically, or the SSCP that would be related to something you guys would be interested in. All right, so now that you have found out about a certification, how do you get more training? Well, the one company that is, like I've mentioned before in class, that offers training as kind of the de facto training standard would be the SANS Institute. So their web address is sans.org. And the SANS Institute offers training for everybody that is interested in security, all the way from us, the student, professor, to FBI, NSA, and large companies, small companies, they train everybody. They're, like I said, the de facto standard of training. So let's look a little bit at what they offer. First, they have these Security West, Security East, SAN Fires events where the Security West is this big conference that SANS puts on. This time it looks like it's in San Diego, ongoing soon, May 7th through 16th. This offers, it's usually offered at a big giant hotel somewhere, because it offers 32 courses with 25 different instructors and 5 different disciplines. So this is where they're offering almost all of their training, all at one site. So what are they offering at SANS Security West? They offer securing Windows, advanced web app pen testing and ethical hacking. It's a pretty fun one. Windows memory forensics, practical introduction to risk assessment, intro to information security, security essentials boot camp, pretty cool, log management, advanced security essentials, intrusion detection. One that I took, hacker technique, exploits, and incident handling. This was fun, I took that one. And network pen testing, so all kinds of stuff, mobile device security and ethical hacking, wireless hacking, advanced exploit development, all kinds of different classes are offered at this SANS Security West. How much are they? Well, they are also not cheap. Much, much more than that $500. Oh, there's all my information. Maybe we'll go back and look at one in particular. How about securing Windows? Here's the price. Yes, very, very expensive for this 1 week class is $4,645. Yes, they definitely love their training, and it is very expensive, but it is taught by the top people. I wanted to show you, let's see, Ed Scotus. Let's see if he has a sample video. Laptop required. Oh, look, no sample video. Ah, there we go. He's teaching a whole bunch of, no, this is his class, Hacker Techniques and Exploits, and it shows you exactly what they'll be covering each day. First is incident handling, computer network hacking exploits, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, and then the final day is a hacker tools workshop. And you can see this is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, full days from 9. This first day is 9 to 6:30. The others are 9 to 5. So quite a bit of info, quite a bit of information. And if you read about Ed Scotus, you would see that he is definitely one of the major players, major people in security. He's been doing this for a long time and has trained all kinds of different people, wrote this book, Counter Hack Reloaded, which I would definitely recommend as a very good book to read. Let me click on it, see where it takes us. Counter Hack Reloaded, this is what the book looks like. So this would be a good one to check out if you're interested more in and a little bit more in information security. So Counter Hack Reloaded is the book that Ed Scotus wrote. So he's an accomplished author. And if you go through and you look at other people who are giving these training sessions, you'll see that they too are definitely tops in their industry. One name that comes up quite a bit. Let's see. Oh, doesn't look like he's teaching there. So John Strand is another person that teaches through SANS. All right, so this one particular is a security training that's offered all in one site. Many different courses offered all at once. That fee that we saw, that $4,600, that actually just covered that one training. But at night they do have other different things going on. If we look at their schedule, you would see that they have talks going on the evening by different people, and they have hosted parties, all kinds of fun stuff like that. All right, so we saw that's very expensive. How about online training? Specifically VLive, not VLive, sorry, click the wrong one. VLive this is ones that they actually are pushing out to you that you can watch. So these are meet online in a virtual classroom. So these are scheduled and you have to take them online at a certain time, but there's also things called on-demand classes. So these are pre-recorded classes that you can watch anytime, kind of like the one you're watching and listening to right now. So on-demand classes, if you look through, you can see there are some of the similar ones that we saw that are offered live, and not much different in terms of price. They're still pretty expensive. However, the price difference here, you get a little bit of a break because you don't have to pay for hotel room and travel and all that stuff. So $4,600 is the price. When you do those live ones, you have to pay for hotel and all that other stuff. So I wanted to show you, let's see, a quick demo of what one of these look like. So here's an example from one of the online security classes. Just thought I'd play you a little sample just so you can see what it's like. Next.
All right, they're going to kind of flip things around here. Here we're going to have a Netcat listener on our Linux machine, running with root privileges, listening on local port, let's do 4444, execute binsh when somebody connects in, and then Windows is going to connect there, and we will see some Linux commands that cause problems for raw shells.
And the next slide. Thinking.
Oh, one point. When you connect using a Netcat client into a Netcat listening shell, as I show you here, you will not see the shell prompt. This -E will only redirect the standard in and standard out of binsh, and the prompt is not included there. so you will not see the prompt. You just make your connection and start typing. Just start typing. Here I'm typing uname-a, which will show me details, including the kernel version of the machine and the machine's name. Who am I? This works great in a raw shell. Root, because I've got the privileges that this Netcat listener, which invoked the shell that I'm typing commands into, is running with. You could do an ls. This works fine. What's the problem?
All right, so that's just a little demo of one of the online classes offered through SANS. Still very expensive. So what are your options? Well, still another expensive option, however, much cheaper than $4,600, is something called the SANS Work Study Program. And this is kind of why I even brought you down this whole road to begin with. So if you go to sans.org/workstudy, what you can do is you can apply to be a TA in the class, or what they're calling is a facilitator. It still costs money, $900, so not cheap still, but a lot cheaper than the $4,600. And what that includes is you can go to all the training event itself. So you pick one of the training classes, go to the night events, the special events, lunch, and all that kind of fun stuff. That's all included in the $900. It says it does not include toolkits, routers, and any featured manuals and CD-ROMs. But a really good idea, to at least get to one of these classes because they are pretty amazing. $900 is still an incredible amount of money. But maybe if you get hired somewhere and they don't want to pay for full training, maybe they'd at least go for something like this, the $900 route. All right, and so all you need to do is go through here, look at your duties. Pretty much that's just making sure everyone's connected and needs help, if they need any help, things like that. And then you apply. So you click here and you click on the application and you can apply for the work study program. All right, one last thing about SANS. So SANS does have not only those one-off classes, but also a master's program. And it too is rather expensive, but let's just go ahead and see what it looks like. More about the master's program. So the site I'm on now that I just switched to is sans.edu is where we landed. And now we're looking at SANS Master of Science degree in Information Security Engineering course. And basically what it is you take several of their SANS classes, and when you take all of these classes, there's some electives, some community projects. Once you do all of this, then you get what's called a SANS master's degree. Some things about admission is here, but one thing I wanted to show you about was tuition, just so you know what they value it at as. Okay, so for the program, you need 37 credits to graduate. That comes to a grand total of $46,000, so fairly expensive. Let's see, $47,850. So there you go. Yeah, it's about $46,000. Let's see, total tuition $44,000. 49 when you add in food and estimated travel costs. So let's just say it's 50 grand for this master's program. Probably not something that you would pay just directly on your own. Maybe something, hopefully, I don't know, that's pretty expensive still, but for a company to pay. But I just wanted to show you that they do offer this master's program. It is expensive, 50 grand. But you do get to take all those SANS classes, and once you're done, you get a degree, a master's degree, to go with all those classes. All right, so that's SANS. Another thing I wanted to show you were some, not only the training, but also what's going on right now for high schoolers. So if you still know people in high school, maybe something you missed out in from high school, but there's several programs security training programs being offered towards high schoolers, and actually not just training, but also competitions. So there's one that just was going on recently called the Toaster Wars, It's a high school hacking competition. Basically, the idea here is to get high schoolers, people of high school age, interested in into computer security through fun stuff like hacking. It looks like what this was the general premise behind the hacking competition was, let's see, when a robot from space crash lands in your backyard, it's up to your hacking skills to fix him and uncover the secret he carries, ... All right, so that was the challenge. I was pretty blown away with how many people are participating. So this is national, and I was just kind of scrolling through here, looking at the scores and looking at the teams. Now these teams are made up of like 3 or 4 people each team, and there's teams from all over the country. As I scroll, look for your high school. Anyone see their high school yet? High school? High school? No? Okay. Well, I will keep scrolling, and this list goes on and on and on and on and on, and we ended up with almost 2,000 high school groups that competed in this contest, which I think is pretty impressive. I'd say that this program is catching on with high schoolers, so I was kind of happy to see that. That was one program. Now, again, this was Toaster Wars. If you search for Toaster Wars, you will come to this site. But this is the URL, picoctf.com. Another high school competition that has been ongoing is called Cyber Patriot. This is actually not a hacking program. You're not trying to hack into something. What you're actually doing is, if I go to About, the general idea, competition are provided with 3 virtual machines. These machines have vulnerabilities, and instead of trying to leverage those vulnerabilities to break into the system, what the students must do is clean the machine. So not quite as fun as hacking in, but still a good idea about what a information security professional does. So this is something that also high schoolers can participate in. The reason why they're aiming at high schoolers is because they really need more people in the information security realm. So they're thinking college students are kind of already set on what degree they want to go to, and they pursue that. High schoolers, it's still kind of open. So they're trying to get them at a younger age, and who's the they that's trying to get them? Well, this is sponsored by Northrop Grumman, which is a defense contractor. And I wanted to show you this too. Join, there we go. So join DHS. So the Homeland Security Group is also sponsoring a lot of these programs that are for high schoolers. Now, if you not a high schooler anymore, so now we are in college. So what do we have for college people from the Homeland Security? Well, the one that you guys did, that hacking competition. But also, there's this student and recent graduate entry-level programs in cybersecurity that the Homeland Security Department is offering. There's a cybersecurity internship and a cyber fellowship honors program. The internship, it looks like that has already closed for this year. Period is closed, but at least you can kind of come back here and look at information in case you wanted more information on next year. So this, to get here, it's just dhs.gov was the website, and you can look at the cybersecurity internships. Okay, a couple more things to show you. Wanted to show you a couple things that I watch in terms of keeping up in the security news. One is this podcast. You can either listen to the audio or you can sit here and watch the whole thing. So here's a little preview.
Now, from the dark corners of the internet, where the exploits run wild, packets aren't the only things that are getting sniffed, and the beer flows steady. It's Paula.com Security Weekly!
Hope I didn't blow your earphones out there. Okay, so I'm going to forward a little bit to right around here. Look at one of the guests that they have on the program.
Andrew back with a man who, of course, needs no introduction, but will do one anyway. Mr. H.D. Moore, the Chief Security Officer at Rapid7 and founder of the Metasploit Project, who founded the Metasploit Project in the summer of 2003 with the goal of becoming a public resource for exploit code research and development. He's also known for his work on Warvox, Axeman, the Metasploit Uncloaking Project, and Rogue Network Link Detection Tools. Welcome, HD, to the show.
Oh, thanks, Paul.
So, HD, I wanted you to come on and tell us a little about some of the recent changes to the Metasploit framework, specifically some of the functionality and features that have been adding and removing as of late.
Yeah, no.
Okay, guess what? I'm going to stop it right there. So if you are interested in listening to more of this interview with H.D. Moore, one of the creators of Metasploit, you can look up. The name of this podcast is paul.com. So if you just do a search for paul.com, there's his website. And this is the latest show that he just had. So yeah, I think he's got some interesting guests. Interesting guy. Something I listen to quite a bit in terms of just trying to keep up with what's going on in the industry without sitting there and reading through stuff. I can also watch some videos and listen to some podcasts. So this is one that I listen to fairly regularly. Another one that I've listened to in the past is Security Now. This one's pretty good, but I'd say it's more from a end user standpoint rather than a information security practitioner's standpoint. But interesting things come up in this podcast as well. It's called Security Now. It's with Leo Laporte and Steve Gibson, and you can listen to any of theirs. These, I don't believe there's a video, but you can listen to them. So this is another thing that I would use to just keep up on security if you want to, see what's still going on. All right, that pretty much wraps it up. What we're going to do in lab is looking at more detail in terms of what the CISSP is going to get you for a job, and also what jobs, when people are hiring security analysts, what are they looking for. All right, good luck on the quiz. That is what your next job is. Take the quiz. Good luck.